This is your captain speaking with a quick pre-flight announcement. Today's episode contains turbulence in the form of graphic discussions about murder and real-life violence. Sensitive ears may prefer to deplane now or switch to a lighter destination. For those remaining on board, please fasten your seatbelts. Listener discretion is advised. We are clear for takeoff.
Hey passengers, I'm your Captain Carla, and welcome back to REDEYE Flights. And today I have my most favorite flight attendant in the whole wide world, my girl, Sarah. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, Sarah, where were we just now?
We were at book club at Jackie's house.
And what a beautiful book club this one was.
Yes.
It was different. I don't think we would have jumped into that on our own, so I'm super happy for Jackie to invite us into this one. It was a little different for us, but it was super cool, and I think we learned a lot from it. So shout out to our girl, Jackie.
Yes, I loved it.
It was wonderful. And that was fun, and now we continue our fun on this plane ride with you guys. All right, so what's today's episode? It is Mayday at Poki Roni Ranch, another murder mystery here in our local city of El Paso. We're dancing, in case you want to know.
I'm dancing to murder mystery.
All right, let me give you a small intro of what today's episode is going to be about. It is the Poki Roni Ranch is a small family-run petting zoo and riding school in the Lower Valley part of El Paso. Was. For decades, it was a local favorite for children's birthday parties and school field trips. But in September 2008, the ranch became the scene of a homicide that shocked the community. The death of 81-year-old Patricia Kirschner, the ranch's owner. This is a small account of what happened based on court records, trial coverage, and local reporting from outlets including KVIA, KFOX, and El Paso Times.
I want to throw in that for those of you that don't know where the Poki Roni Ranch is, it's if you're driving down Lee Trevino going like south towards North Loop, you can literally see. If you look to the right, it says Poki Roni Ranch. Okay. Like, just as you're driving down But to get to it is the biggest bitch in the world. Okay. You have to go... Because the nursery's there.
Yes.
And you have to go, like, around the nursery. But you can see it, but it's, like, impossible... when you're looking at it.
Literally. Okay, so I wish I would have called you because today when I went on my little mission to go take a photo, which I was unsuccessful with, I did not realize that you can go through Lee Trevino versus Loma Land. Yeah. And I went straight to...
You should have called me.
I should have called you because I got 0 photos and I felt like I was intruding. And there was a scary dog when I was driving and I was going to get off the car and kind of get weird with it and just kind of walk about. But this dog was terrifying. So I was like, there's no trespassing. No trespassing, and I don't want to be that person.
And for everybody to know, I'm pointing at the sky currently for the Poki Roni Ranch.
I'm going to grab a photo, passengers. You're going to see it, and it's going to be great.
You can't miss it if you're driving, like, right before you get to North Loop where the Lower Valley Nursery or whatever. It's right there. It's big. It says Poki Roni Ranch. You can't miss it.
This is your captain speaking with a quick pre-flight announcement. Today's episode contains turbulence in the form of graphic discussions about murder and real-life violence. Sensitive ears may prefer to deplane now or switch to a lighter destination. For those remaining on board, please fasten your seatbelts. Listener discretion is advised. We are clear for takeoff.
Moving pony, and Poki was his nickname. So he must have been one of the OGs.
It was one of the OG ponies. Well, that makes it so much better because I really, like, I've said this name so many times and doing research and, like, telling people about it. And I just, Poki Roni. It just didn't roll off the tongue. Yeah, I tried looking it up. I tried finding, like, what does that name mean? And there's nothing attached. So I feel like they just threw a bunch of letters in a hat and came up with a name.
Well, maybe it has to do with it being from the 70s. So the Poki Roni Ranch was founded and operated by Patricia Kirschner and her son Travis Kirschner. The Kirschner family had Cecil, the dad, Pat, Patricia, the mom, Kathy, the sister, and Travis. Pat and Cecil divorced when the children were young. Cecil died a couple years after the divorce. When Travis was 14, his sister passed in a car accident. But we're going to put a pin on her death and come back to that later. That's important. Since it was just Pat and Travis left, they were especially close. The ranch sits on, had been in the family for more than 70 years. I had read that the land was purchased or owned by the Kirchner family since the 20s. And then in the 70s, that's when they took that piece of that land and named it the Poki Roni Ranch. So in the 1970s, Patricia or Pat bought most of her sister June's shares of the 15-acre property to start up the Poki Roni Ranch. June and her husband Dick... That's the elephant in the room. That's a strong name.
I'm here for it.
It's a strong name.
It's a good old Southern name.
June and her husband Dick kept 2 acres for themselves right next to the ranch. Pat, Travis, June, and Dick all had really close relationships for a long time. Pat had a hard time telling Travis no whenever he would pitch new ideas to Pat about the ranch. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good insight on the ranch and its small history. So the property featured ponies, horses, and exotic birds, including several peacocks. That's important for later as well. That became a signature part of the ranch's character. But by 2008, the ranch was facing financial strain and multiple legal disputes. Okay, so here we go into where the ranch is starting to go a little downhill. So Travis is starting to treat the properties like they were all his. So like Sarah had mentioned, they had 15 acres altogether, but they left Auntie June and Uncle Dick. They gave them their 2 acres. And then, so now Travis is wanting to make repairs to Auntie June and Uncle Dick's house without their approval, and they did not like that. And Auntie June and Uncle Dick are now starting to get upset about all the peacocks that live at Poki Roni. Every year they are multiplying by the dozens. The peacocks were brought in the 80s to bring like a little pretty vibe on the farm. There's over 70 peacocks roaming around and making a mess.
In 2004, June and Dick filed a civil lawsuit about the peacocks. Travis was so butthurt about this. He decides to retaliate, sending them a barrage of hateful messages. He seeks revenge with the neighbors and tries to make their lives miserable.
This is your captain speaking with a quick pre-flight announcement.
Okay,
Today's
so
episode contains turbulence in the form of graphic discussions about murder and real-life violence. Sensitive ears may prefer to deplane now or switch to a lighter destination. For those remaining on board, please fasten your seatbelts. Listener discretion is advised. We are clear for takeoff.
What is it in 2004 and 2008? Like, is that an answering? Is it text? They charged per text back then. Do you remember? Oh, God. What that hate cost you.
I need to know exactly what was happening here.
Text messages back then, like 10 cents a pop. Do you remember?
Yes, exactly. And I remember at night we'd be like, "Don't call me till past 6 or whatever." And then it was free. This phone better not ring before that free hours.
This man could only hate between the hours.
He could only hate between the hours.
The barrage happened at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, so let's see here. So Auntie June and Uncle Dick actually made a lawsuit against Travis and Pat about the peacocks being on the other portions of the property and not just on Poki Roni Ranch. So in the lawsuit, that it's asked him to corral the peacocks and put them on his property only. So he does his best to corral them, but the leftover birds that were roosting in the trees, he hired someone to shoot them down. This actually upsets Pat, and she's now feeling a type of way about Auntie June and Uncle Dick. So she becomes in a sense of depressed. How could it? Okay, back up. She becomes depressed. How could her only sister do that to her? So that lawsuit, basically, so they filed a lawsuit against them about the peacocks because they were just making a mess all over the property. So the neighbors were getting upset and Auntie June and Uncle Dick weren't having it. He lost the lawsuit. So that's the first lawsuit. So then 2 years later, there was a second lawsuit that was filed by, guess who? Auntie June and Uncle Dick, along with some surrounding neighbors again. This lawsuit was to protest the traffic that the Poki Roni parties were bringing. The road is narrow narrow dirt road and could kick up a lot of dust. They wanted him to cement it. He was outraged. These demands were outrageous, and instead he decided that this was the last straw, and because of these demands, he had to close the Poki Roni Ranch. He could have cemented the road, but instead he closed it. So that lawsuit was, in a sense, stating he either cemented the road so the dust wasn't kicking up. Because imagine if you're having a birthday party and you're inviting 20-some guests, imagine the amount of traffic it's bringing in. So they were asking him to find a different way to enter in. So now we remember Lee Trevino's an option, and then going straight into that dirt road. So there was options. He just wasn't into it. So he tells Mama Pat, well, we lost this lawsuit again, so now we have to close it. So I feel like he was a little bit overreacting, maybe. He could have cemented it, but he just didn't want to. But we don't know his reasons. If it was funds or such, it doesn't mention all that stuff.
Cement is as expensive back then as it is now.
Oh, that has also gone up.
But the man had money to spend on texts.
I mean,
it might have been worth it.
If he wasn't doing his hate messages, he might have had a couple dollars.
I think I'm really showing my age because they might have been free by this time already.
Oh my God, no, I don't know. We'll have to Google. That's for a different Google, passengers. All right, so now we're rolling into what happened on September 17, 2008.
So on September 17, 2008, Patricia Kirchner was found dead inside her garage of her home in the Poki Roni property. She died from carbon monoxide poisoning caused by exhaust fumes from a running vehicle. The vehicle was a yellow PT Cruiser. Initially, investigators believed that Patricia's death might have been a suicide. Yeah, that screams suicide. However, after questioning Travis, the case took a different turn. During an interview with police, Travis Kirchner confessed to being involved in his mother's death. According to the reports from KVIA and court testimony, he told officers, "I killed her. I wanted to kill myself, but I killed her." Kirchner claimed that he and his mother had made a suicide pact, intending to die together by carbon monoxide poisoning. He said he had given her sleeping medication just before placing her in the car and starting the engine. He also claimed that he attempted to take his own life afterward, but he did not die. God.
Damn it.
Pat's body was found out of the car as though she had been trying to crawl away from the car. The night of the incident, Travis was enjoying some margaritas with his neighbor. June and Dick asked her if she had... I'm just kidding. I don't know if it's June and Dick. It wasn't June and Dick.
It was a friendly neighbor.
It was a friendly neighbor. Asked her if she had any sleeping pills. He mentioned he isn't sleeping well. She gave him what, but he scuttled over, gave his Mama Pat one, went back to enjoying margaritas with his friend.
Okay.
So he...
Tell me.
Killed her?
Yes.
And then he went back to sipping margaritas.
What I understand is that he was having margaritas with his friend, and he's a smoker, so they show like he's just smoking away, and then he's having margaritas with his friend to ask her, hey, tells her, I'm having trouble sleeping. Do you have any of those sleeping meds? And she's like, sure. So she goes in and grabs one, and he's like, hey, I'm going to go check on my mom. I'm going to be right back. Get us another pitcher of margaritas. I'll be right back. So he goes over, he gives her the sleeping pill, and then he goes back and has another pitcher. And then when he goes back is when he gets his mama, puts her in the car in this yellow, I like how they mentioned the yellow PT Cruiser, canary yellow PT Cruiser, and then she passes. So what do we think happened? I think that they had made, quote unquote, a suicide pact, because he was like giving his mama information that the farm's down, we don't have no more monies coming in and out of it. Although I don't think the motive was financially based, because everything was already in his name and he had some coins to rub together. He was wealthy considering the times for, his business. But so I don't know exactly what his motive would have been, is if they mentioned he was getting antsy in El Paso. So maybe he was just like, Mama's never going to leave this land that has been in our family for over 70 years. I'm kind of stuck with her. Maybe if I just tell her I'm going to die too, she'll want to die, and then we'll both die, except for only she's going to die, and then I'm going to live my best life.
I feel like it's a shame that there wasn't like a juicier motive. I shouldn't say that, kind of like a life insurance policy.
Because then it would have been like straightforward.
You know what? Like, this money's gonna bail us out, save all my peacocks, and pave my road.
We're gonna be gold, man.
Soup up my PT Cruiser too. I think you might need to edit that out.
But well, then it leaves the motive loose. Like if it's not money motive, I just think it was more of like, Mama's old, I'm ready to live my life, I feel stuck, and
I think it's hard to truly understand a decent motive why anybody kills anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
But given the family's history, maybe they really did make a pact, and he was just like, the margaritas are good. Like, I don't want to go yet.
I'm barely getting started here. So let's talk about that. So the family history. So we had put a pin in Kathy's death. So I found out later in readings that Kathy is his sister, and she got pregnant. They don't mention her age, but she got pregnant, and she did not want Mama Pat to find out. So she allegedly drove her car off the highway. Beer goes in the mouth, not on the eye.
Not in the eye.
And so she, very serious, it went right off the highway. So her death was allegedly a suicide as well. So she had a suicide. Dad Cecil, after their divorce, he had passed. A couple years later, he had got diagnosed with diabetes and wasn't taking care of his diabetes, like just neglectful. And so he passed. And so they had kicked up the word suicide again because he just neglected his care. And so it loosely was thought of as suicide as well.
Like an intentional death.
Yeah, intentional. So there we have these two and their suicide pact, except for one died and not the other. So let's skip on over to the investigation. So the police gathered physical evidence from the scene, and inconsistencies in Travis' story began to surface. There was no clear evidence that Patricia had contested to the suicide pact.
Consented.
Whoa, what did I say?
Contested. I think there was evidence that she did contest.
Well, damn it, she was
crawling away.
Okay, back up. So Patricia had consented to. She had consented to a suicide pact. The dosage of medication in her system and the setup of the garage raised questions about intent, meaning that she looked like she was crawling away from the car. Travis had rented the PT Cruiser shortly before the incident, suggesting premeditation. So authorities concluded that the death was not a joint suicide, but rather a homicide staged to look like one. In 2009, Travis Kirshner was charged with murder in connection with his mother's death. Travis said he tried to commit suicide with his mom, but when he woke up from sitting in the car with his mom, so then he tried to go to the exhaust and inhale the carbon monoxide. When that didn't work, he tried to hang himself with an extension cord in the garage, but couldn't get it to stay around his neck.
All this between rounds
of margaritas. So let's break that down a little bit more. So
the most Texas thing ever. Down here.
I feel like the most. I gave it a fighting effort.
And then I went and had a Texas-sized margarita.
Because nothing was working. So he gave Mama a sleeping pill, put her in the car, set her up with carbon monoxide, and then supposedly he's saying that he sat in the car with her, but he fell asleep but woke up. And when he woke up, he had an overwhelming regret. I don't want to do this. But then he saw that Mama passed and was like, oh my God, I guess so I need to do it. So he goes to the exhaust, tries to inhale that, doesn't work. So now he's trying to hang himself with an extension cord. He says he couldn't get that thing to stay on him. And then he chooses to call 911.
This is chaos.
It's just
Poki Roni Ranch.
Chaos at the Roni
Poki
Ranch. I mean, it's interesting enough, right? And somehow there was margaritas in here. All right, so tell me about the trial.
The trial began in October 2011 in El Paso's 384th District Court. The prosecution's argument was that Travis deliberately killed his mother by placing her in a running car while she was sedated. The act was premeditated. The claim of a suicide pact was fabricated. Financial and emotional stress related to the ranch's decline were cited as possible motives. He had no carbon monoxide signs, no marks around his neck.
Yeah.
The defense's argument were the defense maintained that Patricia had wanted to die and that Travis only followed through on her wishes. Witnesses testified that Patricia had previously discussed suicide. The defense characterized the event as a failed mutual suicide, not a murder. After several days of testimony, the jury found Travis Kirchner guilty of murder on October 26, 2011. He was sentenced to a lengthy prison term, 29 years, and he was 55-ish?
55-ish.
Ish years old at the... old, so that's basically a death sentence.
Okay, so I'm going to back up to one thing really quick. I don't think we mentioned that there was talks of suicide. So her friends, like lifelong friends of Pat's, had said that she would talk multiple times about when she passes that it wanted to be on her terms and that she wanted to be put to sleep like her animals. So there was conversations about suicide or you said that word earlier, about the
Like an intentional
death. So the friends were like, well, that's not far off for her because that's what she wanted. But when the jury was doing the trial, the judge told them, I'm not asking you if it was ethical or not. I'm asking you, did he turn the ignition on that killed his mother? That's what you're here to determine or not. And so that it was, and loosely those words. And so that's where the jury was like, oh shoot. So we can't decide if it was a rightful or wrongful death. It was, did he start the car that gave her the carbon monoxide poisoning that killed her?
I think that's kind of it's supposed to be like beyond a reasonable doubt. Have reasonable.
I mean,
the lady was still pretty much kicking, like she was getting around.
She was
running
moving
that
around.
ranch.
Yeah, I mean, her friends were saying that she was 81 years old and that she actually was like, she was doing well.
Oh, but we can edit that out because you said she was sedated. So
she was sedated.
Yeah, so obviously she couldn't have turned the key herself. So,
right.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so they did have packets, like she in Mama Pat's very bottom drawer of her dresser, she had packets with notes saying of her death, like if you're reading this, I'm dead and by suicide, like it says and everything. So again, it's like maybe she could have done the suicide by herself, but did he turn the ignition? Yeah. That was the whole point.
Well, if she was sedated, I feel like she had to.
So that it's a tough. I mean, I'm not gonna say. I mean, I'm not judge or.
I mean, because she could have gone in, turned on the car, and then taken the sedation, gone to sleep. Mm-hmm. But if he went out and got it for her, no, I mean, yeah, like that's...
Oh, and another important part is the carbon monoxide. So I learned that if you have carbon monoxide poisoning, your body appears as though you're sunburned. So it's red all over. So she had that sunburn-like look. And since... homie Travis Daddy Travis had no type of burn on his face or any type of his body, and he had no marks around his neck from attempting with his extension cord situation. So there was also those
lie.
Yes,
false.
Okay, so here's the aftermath following the conviction. At Poki Roni Ranch, it closed permanently. The property was eventually sold and the animals were removed or relocated. The case left a lasting impression on our El Paso community, particularly because many residents had fond childhood memories of visiting the ranch. Travis Kirshner later appealed his conviction, but no reversal was granted. Once his appeal was denied, Travis committed suicide in his jail cell. Remember, we put a pin. Oh, we already talked about this, about Kathy's death and how we wanted to go down the rabbit hole of how the whole family appears to have died from suicide. All right, so give me the legacy.
The Poki Roni case was remembered locally as both a family tragedy and one of El Paso's most unusual crime cases. It combined themes of mental health, elder care, financial stress, familial dependency, accumulating a crime that blurred the line between mercy killing and murder. To this day, former visitors recall the ranch for what it once was, a cheerful corner of West Texas that became a site of unimaginable loss. I actually used to take writing lessons at the Poki Roni Ranch.
Yes, I wanted you to talk about that.
I actually remember the road to get into it. We would go in from where the nursery is, which is a beautiful nursery.
All of them down there.
If you're in the area, it's a very narrow road, and a lot of houses have come up. Obviously, since then, there's a lot of land, so it's a lot of like winding situation to get to the ranch. I remember that. They had barrel racing. They had the lessons when I went. They were $20. My mom used to get $20. She would just take me. I had the time of my life. Everybody was really, really kind. There was a lot of like older women, teenage girls that would go. I do remember a guy being there when I would go because they had like the steps to get onto the horse.
Was that Daddy Travis?
I don't know. I was a little girl, so I don't really.
I'm 90% sure because you had to have run into Pat or Travis at one of those lessons.
I do remember there being birthday parties and stuff like that, but I don't remember who anybody was named. A horse took a swing at my mom.
Oh.
Right in the back leg.
Well, shoot.
Yeah. That I do remember. God, I can't remember if I think it was $10 or $20 a ride, but I don't know. It was a really long time ago. One of the things that I read about, though, online when... Because when you told me, it was the first time I heard about it. I had never heard about this.
Oh, my God.
I actually had driven by a few years ago, and I told my daughter, like, I used to ride horses at this place, and we were going to the nursery. And my mother-in-law lives not far from there. So when you told me about it, I was looking at the Facebook comments, and a lot of them said that during the Depression, or after the Depression, and then they would do rides for like 25 cents. And a lot of the equestrian clubs here in El Paso, they would take lessons there. So a lot of women or a lot of people here in El Paso, they posted photos of themselves on this feed, and they're like older pictures on horses, different horses at this ranch.
Wow.
I think that's incredible.
I think that's such a cool story. I mean, the history is beyond with it. Like I'm sure, like
from the 20s. You're talking about 100 years. It's
literally
2025. So 100 years.
Wow. Because I mean, and it had a long run. I mean, they were pumping out, and well, Pat was in the 70s, and then Travis in the 80s, and then it closed in 2008. So she had a long run. I'm sad to know that the land was sold, and I don't know where, Uncle June and Aunt Dick.
Hopefully they paved that road.
No, they didn't pave it, because let me tell you, it's Bowers Road. That's the one road to get in. It's a dead end today. And my Bronco, I'm freaking bouncing around in it because it is not it's not an easy road. And I was just thinking, these people, and I saw a bunch of cars like in the houses driving up, and I was like, wow, these little cars take this road every day. So somebody's still not, thinking about the cement here.
Once you get into the ranch, it's nice. You didn't get to go into
I couldn't. It was blocked off, and that dog really scared me.
So once you get in, like to the right is the arena, and you can actually see the arena from Lee Trevino. That's where they used to do the lessons.
See, and I'm going to go on Lee Trevino, and I'm going to take photos there because I feel like I'll be able to see more, because I didn't see anything. It was all just houses.
I wonder how much because you can see it as you're coming down for sure. You can see where the arena is. You can see where they used to do the haystacks under where it says Poki Roni.
Oh, wow.
And that's where, like, you could, like, stack people up and take pictures. Stack all our Mexican family. You take pictures. But I do remember the arena because it was right there and you drove in. That's probably about all I remember.
Wow.
And a lot of the teenage girls would ride bareback on these horses when you would go for these lessons. And I thought it was just the coolest thing.
I mean, it sounds cool. It had a good run. It was a really cool place at one time. I hate how it ended. And may they all rest in peace, you know? Yeah. It's a sad story.
All 4 of them. Damn.
All 4 of them, man.
Good Lord.
I know. I wonder what the story is with them today, with the rest of June and her clan. But that was a cool story. Thanks for sharing it with me. Let's lighten it up and let's have some in-flight entertainment. All right, as we know, passengers, this is a segment where I just ask a bunch of random questions and poor Sarah's caught off guard. And we just get raw answers and we have some laughs. So let's jump into it. What is your worst kiss? I have one on the cusp for you and I need to know more.
I want to say, God, my husband's going to listen to this.
He's part of our 3 passengers.
I want to say when I was in high school, I was kissing a boy, and I just remember he had a very large booger in his nose. Oh, God. If I didn't rush to tell you about it.
I feel like I was in the other room, per usual, you know, being weird, wandering about your house until you're ready to hang out.
I was going to listen to this.
And he scuttled off pretty quickly, though. It was like, hi, bye. And then he left, and you were like, and you told me it was yellow.
It was big and glorious.
It was
like a yellow PT Cruiser.
Popping Canary yellow PT Cruiser.
Canary yellow.
Oh my God, I cannot with it. I'll tell you mine. So my first kiss was a gentleman, you know, my very first kiss, and he made out with my chin.
You know, we all were just trying. We were just doing our best. We were paying for texts. We were fucking trying, man.
We were doing our best.
It was a hard time.
And I remember thinking as he was going to town on my chin, like, this doesn't look like the movies, I'm sure. Like, this isn't, like, how does it, like, I don't get it.
So you have to think, if he's making out with your chin, his nose
was right here on my mouth.
Like, huh. Like, right in his nose. Huh.
Like, what do I do?
Sir, come up for air.
I want to dissect what we were doing here. Oh my God, I knew that one was going to be the one you brought up and it made me die. I can. Back in the 90s when we were doing our best. Okay. What is the most absurd thing you've Googled?
Okay.
Give it to me.
No. My husband's going to laugh. So, for years, I had texted him a word.
Oh.
And just texting him, and he thought I misspelled it, like, cute. Like, it's something that I misspelled. You're looking at me because you've never heard this before.
I was going to say I'm a little sad about this.
He was like, oh, like, it's something cute she does. Like, no. So when he corrected me one day, I went immediately to Googled it, and avocado does not have an L. It's just avocado. And I had even been texting avocado.
And it wouldn't even pop up the cute little emoji.
You know, they had the squigglies. Like, you know when you misspell a word? I just went, right, when you asked me, that's the first thing that I'm pretty sure I've Googled worse things or more absurd things, but that has to be probably the most absurd thing I've Googled.
I'll tell you one that I got caught with, and I was like, well, because I'm sure I've Googled all kinds. I mean, my Google history has all kinds of nonsense. I'm pretty sure I'm on some kind of list. However, I Googled one time, Chris he had gotten my phone, and then he was like, well, I had Googled, is Kim Kardashian's ass real? But this was like back when it was like absurdly huge. And then he had saw that in my search and was like, well, is it?
Of course not. It holds bottles of champagne. Although I feel like there's some real juicy butts out there that can.
I feel like there's some great booties out there, but hers was not one. But I got caught with that, and I was a little embarrassed. Well, it was in the time though. I want to say it was probably around this 2008 Poki Roni dilemma.
How much did you pay for that Google?
Oh, shoot, I'm still paying it off.
So I think mine beats yours though. It's most embarrassing.
Absolutely.
Avocado, ladies and gentlemen. Does that
Bless her heart. Bless her heart. Okay, before making a telephone call, do you rehearse what to say?
Yes. But I'll say this, for my job, I have I do have to think about a lot what I'm going to say before I make calls. So it's practice. So I do it all the time now.
Okay.
And I'm extremely disappointed when people don't answer.
Oh.
I worked for this.
I built up the energy
Short of looking in the mirror, like I was ready. So I'll leave you a voicemail and you're going to know exactly what I was.
You know, I feel like in a way we kind of all do. Like I get really... I don't know why. I can answer client calls, no problem, any call. But when I call like doctor offices, I'm panicked. Yeah. And I
feel like those are the ones we should be rehearsing. And
I do.
I don't think I do the ones for the doctors as much as I probably should.
I just get all kinds of nervousness and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to ask me all kinds of I don't know what. And I'm pretending questions in my head that they do not ask. Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Out of me and you, who is always late and who is early?
You're late.
Oh God, I hate it.
1,000% of the time. If I'm gonna be late, it's probably because I'm flaking. So like it's not that I'm late, it's just that I'm flaking out. But you are late. Probably between 30 minutes to an hour at any given
It drives me crazy. I have lost sleep over this because I will try everything inside me to leave early and then just life's obstacles, man. Like, you know what happened to me today? I was leaving out the door.
For which thing? For Jackie's thing?
No, it was...
Because you were still late to Jackie's
6 minutes. 6 minutes. No, I dropped General's water. And I was like, this is the stuff.
This is 6 minutes.
This is
6 minutes of water.
that makes me lose hair. Why I have 3 hairs, damn it. Okay, out of me and you, who is more competitive?
I want to say... I think it depends.
I am not competitive at all.
But I've seen you in a verbal debate with people.
Oh.
Yeah. I bet you didn't think about that, huh?
I didn't. I'm over here thinking about my endurance.
No. You're like, let them go.
Let them go. I'll be back here.
We all tried our best. I think in that sense, neither of us are competitive. But I think as far as like... being wordy goes, like you'll want to outword somebody. Yeah.
I think it depends who though, because I will not most people I don't care, but if I feel like I'm right, I'm gonna need to let everybody know.
Exactly.
I'm gonna pull up my Google search history with Kim Kardashian's ass on it and do some facts.
Yeah, I was gonna die on avocado. I was gonna die on that one. The bitch has an L in it.
I'm writing to my daddy Trump to add an L. He took out Gulf of Mexico to America. We're gonna add L's and avocados.
That man's probably Googling the same shit I am.
Who is the president? Oh, shit, me.
Is Kim Kardashian's ass real?
He's like, well, shit. Okay, out of me and you, who is nicer?
You.
No.
100% you.
I don't. You're nice. You're a nice person. I think we're both nice.
Yes. Well, you think I'm nice?
Yes.
That's the nicest thing I think I've said to me.
I definitely think that you're nicer in social settings. Like, I feel like I've done if people are talking and I'm not into it, I just walk away, and that's not very nice. You have manners.
I'm just a really quiet person, I guess. Like, I listen, but I don't know that makes me, yeah. What? Is that nice? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know if that's nice or kind. I think you're really nice.
Thank you. I think you're nice.
Well, shit, I think you're nice.
Fuck yeah, you're nice. And I'm going to win this one.
I'm about to get really wordy right here.
I said you're nice, damn it.
My Sarah, I am so happy that you came out of Control Tower to be with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Hi.
I'm gonna go back.
You are. This is just the beginning, babe.
I'm gonna keep Googling words.
I love you so much, and thank you for joining me.
I love you too. Thank you for having me. It was a good one.
It was a good one.
Yeah,
It was a good feeling, and I hope you passengers learned a little thing or two about me, Sarah, and the Poki Roni,
and how to spell,
and how to spell,
and how much text were in the early 2000s.
Until next episode, passengers.
Thank you for catching a flight with me today, passengers. To catch all flights, don't forget to like and subscribe.